If you want to check out what's going to happen soon and how your job is going to change using the new media that are out there and that are coming, that are everywhere, then you should come and join. I'm Martin Lens Fitzgerald. I help companies discover the new medium of voice. I'm a thought leader, a keynote speaker, an entrepreneur, as well as a global head of voice at Nodes Agency. I actually am almost ready with my new book. In 2 months, it'll be ready, called Voice. I do every week a newsletter, openvoice.nl, as well as an event every 2 months. And I have a podcast called Voicecast, where we, together with brands and other organizations, discover what they did and why with voice. If you count all the devices that are voice capable, meaning that they can understand what you say and talk back, albeit maybe sometimes a little bit, 2 billion. 2 billion Android devices, iPhone devices, Amazon, Alexa, Apple devices, and that is excluding the Chinese devices, which just now recently reports came out that over 60 million specific speakers have been sold in China, which work with their local services. And so, yeah, that's going pretty well. In Holland, we're doing pretty good. Last year, Google launched as the first voice service. Amazon is not here, so that was the first one apart from Siri. And they had, I think, like 25 large companies from Albert Heijn well, for instance, now Heineken. You can order beer with your voice in Amsterdam, and within an hour it will be brought right here. So that's going pretty well. Yet, if you look at the usage, your mother probably won't have one as well as your neighbor, which means it has not crossed the chasm. It's not into the late majority or even the early majority, which it is in the States. That's your mom, your mom, and your neighbor will have one. And we'll get there, but it always takes time.
How can voice be used within recruitment?
Recruitment is a special one because on one hand you have, of course, your web pages where you can use search engine optimization to make sure that the specific queries that or indexing that Google uses for voice can be serviced. And you do this through speakable voice snippets. So that means that in one sentence, for instance, your job is really understandable when it's read. So if you include that with the right code on every job, then when people who are looking for a job ask if there's a job from, say, Philips, and that's what your job is about or from, then it'll read that back correctly. So that's one side. Another thing is that you can create specific voice actions. So these are kind of like voice applications that in one way or the other are working for your recruitment efforts. I think it can help recruiters because not only is it easier to find people, you can also screen people easier. And you have a lot of online systems now that work with text, but it's much easier if you can have an automated conversation just to see, hey, do you really have so much experience in that area? Yes, I do. When people are walking and can do that in a much natural or more natural way, then that will help the recruiter, definitely.
Which of the big three will win the race? Siri, Alexa, or Google Assistant?
And there's Samsung as well. Samsung just recently, of course we all know Samsung, everybody has a Samsung phone or at least a fridge or a toaster. They bought the company of the original Siri builders. So that's the only service now, Bixby from Samsung, that is developed on a second generation level. So that's very interesting because even though they're not out there as much as all the other ones, they could be very smartly a first mover soon. Not only because all those devices are everywhere. So who of those four would be the winner? I wonder because one thing that I see is that the voice industry, the voice landscape, is not like the moon. If you look at the web, for instance, it is like the moon. All these creators, all kinds of companies fighting for your attention for anything. Voice is like maybe 3 creators or maybe 10, but there's lots of room still. So it looks like maybe the big ones will win. But for instance, BBC just decided to create their own voice service because they don't want all their data lost within Google, because you will literally be part of their strategy instead of your own. So I think it's not about the winners in that sense, it's what the direction the industry will go through. And on one hand, of course, you will have the big players, but on the other hand, you will have lots of smaller players. And just another example, you have XMOS, which is a chip designer. For 5 cents, you can create a chip that you put in your light switch and it listens to on and off, and that's it, 5 cents. So imagine if you put those kind of capabilities in the hands of, say, smart recruiters, what will they come up with outside of those big players? So there's lots of opportunity out there, and then, yeah, that fight, that even that game has no, yeah, we don't have no idea yet.
At the 21st of November, you give a keynote about voice at the Recruitment Tech event.
Yes.
What's your keynote about?
I think in short, for most people, I will introduce what the new medium of voice is, why it's important, because it is actually the quickest growing medium ever, or channel, whatever you want to say. And if you compare it to, for instance, web or mobile, we've never seen anything like it. But one other thing we keep forgetting, it is totally different. So we can't really use or reuse the things that we learned with the digital earlier media. It's different, it's more emotional, it's more real, yet it's also way complex. Even though you think, hey, I can do conversations, I can program that. That's not the case. And through examples, through some insights, through models, I will give everybody a framework so they can understand, and to use the awful but also interesting American word, you can grok what voice is. I think if you don't care about the future, if you're okay where you are, if you like your pen, you like your paper, then you can miss it. But if you want to check out what's going to happen soon and how your job is going to change using the new media that are out there and that are coming, that are everywhere, then you should come and join.
Cool. See you the 21st of November. Thank you.
Cheers.